Hi, welcome to ETC Programming Series. In this one, we're going to talk about queues, queue list, and managing queue list, and how to look at them and how to know what the board is actually playing. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Right, so when we last left this party, we had recorded 4 queues, and we'd learned how to hit the go button or the space bar to be able to move through the queues. But you know what? I can't see them. All I'm seeing are my tombstone values that are moving through this queue list, and I would really like to look at the queues. At this point, we're going to need to explore a little deeper into how this console navigates information. And you'll notice at the bottom of this main tombstone window is our live table window. And below that, we have a series of tabs, right? And these tabs will take us to different places. Playback Display, which is what PSD stands for, Playback Display of List 1 is our second tab. If we were to click on this tab, it changes our display window, and it is now showing us queues, right? It's showing us the individual queues that we've recorded and all of their timing information. To get back to our live display, a live table, it'll take you here, and this will only show you the active queue. Let's go back to our playback display. Now, let's open our virtual keyboard and let's say back, and we'll see that we've moved back into Q3, back again, and we're into Q1, or to Q2, I'm sorry, back again. Red means it's in motion. Yellow is the current one that you're in, the current queue that you are in. Now, let's look at some of the information that's across here, right? The first column is the queue number, right, which is going to be Q1, Q2, right? And this is what the stage manager would call for something to be able to happen on stage. The next set of columns is the amount of time that it takes for a queue to fade in or to fade out. It is a timing parameter. The next 3 columns are also timing parameters for moving lights or intelligent lights or LEDs or anything of that. And the duration is the total amount of time it's going to take for that queue to execute. I will enter into what all of this means later, right? A forward or a follow or a hang is an auto execute. Link is how we make queues link over or skip queues within a stack. A loop is to be able to make queues loop back to one another. Curve, rate, label is what I may want to talk about right now, of how we could label our queues. Now, I can, in the offline edit, and all of them actually, I believe I can just click here, and all I did was click on the label, and it gives me this virtual keyboard that I can type on. You can also type on your regular keyboard. I could either sit here and punch all of these, right? So I'm just going to say shift, and I'll say lights, right? Space, shift, up, right? For Q1. And I can say enter, right? Now, if I want, I can go ahead and I'll hit my space bar. When I'll go to Q2, wait, spacebar disabled. Let's select Q2, right? So this is Q2, and I hit the label, and I will just, my caps are on. Let's just say shift. Actually, let's do this for my regular keyboard. When this keyboard is displayed, all of your shortcut commands have been disabled. So you can type on your keyboard just like your regular keyboard. So at this point, I'm going to say Tish enters, right? Backspace enters. And however you want to label things. And I will say enter, right? So now Q2 has got a label of Tish enters. Now let's select Q3, right? Now careful, I've selected, there's a couple of things selected. Let's make sure that I've selected Q3. And I label it there, and now I'm gonna, right, see, look, I'm labeling both Q1 and Q3, which I don't want. So I'm just going to hit my escape key, and that takes me out. I'm using my mouse wheel to scroll up and down the cue list. And let's deselect Q1. Let's see if I can select that. And now deselect that. How does this work? Right? Again, I'm selecting both of them. Right? How about I just hit go, backspace, right? So my space bar is disabled. To set it up, I need to press the Alt and the G key to enable. Spacebar go is enabled. So let's hit the go, and that takes me into Q3. And once it's there, I'll hit that, and it says Q3 label is going to be Tish cross to tree, lovely, and enter. And I'll hit my go button again to Q4, and I will select Q4. There is a keyboard shortcut to this, right? And I'll talk to you about it in a minute, but I can select that, and now I'm going to say end scene 1, enter. And I've just put in some basic text labels about how my cues are going to operate. Again, if I want to get back to my live table, this shows me the cue that I'm in. Over here shows me all of the cues that are in the stack, and I can use the mouse wheel to roll up and down it. Now, if I want to select a cue, just like what I was doing, but not go to a cue, I can just type in the cue number. Let's go to our virtual keyboard, and let's say Q1, enter. It's now selected cue number 1, right? Or I can say Q2, enter. I could also select a range of cues. I could say Q1 through 3, enter. And it has selected all of them. To clear that selection, I just hit escape. Backspace. There we go. Backspace clears that selection. Yes? So that's how we can label a cue and move through a cue list and display a cue list. And I think that I will pause this video for now, and we'll do, and I'll see you again soon.